If you could change any choices you have ever made, would you? You can always make another choice and change the course of your success. Everyone has the potency to make inspired choices. Get ready to listen, share, and experience the creativity that is you. Now, here is the host of Inspired Choices radio show, Holographist coach, Christine McIver.
Welcome, my friends. Thank you, all of you Inspired Choices fans out there. Holla back, girls. Holla back, boys. I am so happy that you are here today. Today on a day when we are asking something of ourselves in asking something of the universe. So tonight's show is Universe, Show Me the Next Step. This is a show that was literally born within last week's show. So if you did not hear last week's show, it was a good one. I mean, you know, if any of you out there know what it's like to have something come through you and be in that place of amazement, even though it was coming out of your mouth, that was what last week's show was for me. And last week's show was called Why Do I Even Bother? Oh my gosh, it was really awesome for all of us that were participating live during the show, and what was actually being shown to us when we are in that state of feeling like, why the hell should I even bother, right? How many of you have been in that place where you're just like, you know what, I'm just done. I'm done, right? And we don't get what the gift there is in the why do I even bother. So tonight's show, as I said, is called Universe, Show Me the Next Step. Now, before we get into that show, I want to tell you about who you're listening to. If this is the first time you're listening, or maybe the 10th time, or the 100th time, or who knows, maybe you've been listening for the 11 years since I've been doing radio, because, yep, I've had my voice on radio for 11 years. As my brothers would say, I have the face for radio. They were buggers, but they meant well, I think. Anyways, tonight, let me tell you about who I am and what it is that I bring into the world. So I am someone who has gone through lots of interesting journeys in what I'm going to call probably about the first half, maybe the first third of my life. And during those journeys, I have felt like I couldn't take another step. I have soared right to the top of joy where I thought I was going to burst. I have had experiences within my career that have been outstanding. I have had the pleasure of bringing 2 children into the world, a boy and a girl. I've had absolute pain to the point that I thought I did not want to be here anymore, through 2 marriages that were very unkind, and through financial challenges that have stretched me. And today, I am so thrilled to know that all of this has contributed to the person that I am, and I am still becoming, because I believe we're still, as long as you're breathing, you're still becoming. You're still moving forward and learning and growing and really evolving into more of who you are. What I do in the world is I'm a massive cheerleader for people. I can see in others sometimes what they cannot see within themselves. I have such strong belief knowing about what people can accomplish and how far they can really stretch themselves. And I do that through a number of vehicles. One of the vehicles is coaching. I do personal one-on-one coaching with individuals. I have a few different programs within that coaching. I have Bust Doubt Out. How many of you have had doubt be your partner in your life as you move forward and make choices? That's a program that I created, and I absolutely love that program. It still speaks to me when I have those moments of doubt. I have a number of different programs, and on top of that, I have my Inspired Choices Network, the radio, TV, magazine platform that I created, and it's just coming up to its third birthday. And this is something that surprised me, this area of my life, this area of my business that unfolded. And, all of what I'm sharing with you tonight is going to actually feed into what we're going to be talking about during the show. So the title that I utilize that fits really where I'm at in my career is a holographist coach. And you all know what a hologram is. I mean, if you've seen Star Wars and they go onto the hologram, they go into the I don't even know all the terms properly, but they go into the holographic deck and they choose the experience they want to have, and they make it happen immediately. Like, they go right into that. It's portrayed as a fantasy that they come out of, but I do see that is something that when we put our mind and our attention, our thoughts, our words, and our actions towards what it is that we desire, we can make it begin to unfold right now. And that's what I do when I'm working with individuals, when I'm working with my own projects, with other people's projects. Let's make it happen. Let's step into it now. No more waiting is necessary. We can have what it is that we are desiring. And sometimes it's surprising how easily and quickly that can come, especially if we're open to it coming in a lot of different ways. So if this is something that's intriguing you, I do give a half an hour one-on-one connection with someone just so they can get to know me, I can get to know them, and we can see if there's a match. So you can contact me. You can email me, Christine@inspiredchoices.ca, or you can connect with me through the network here or through any of my podcasts that you're listening to on many, many different platforms. So do reach out. You can find me all across the internet, and I would love to hear your thoughts on what is going to be shared in tonight's show. So let's get into it. So yes, last week it was why do I even bother? And this week it's universe, show me the next step. So, when we are in that space of why do I even bother, we often have the feeling, and I've experienced this, I know my clients have experienced this, we often have the feeling that we're doing it alone, that every step that we're taking, it's like you take 2 steps forward and 3 steps back. Has anybody ever said that before? How's it going? Oh, I just feel like I'm taking 1 step forward and 3 back. I'm not getting there. I'm on the treadmill, and I can't make anything happen. And why isn't anything happening? Why am I still in this space, right? Anybody? Hello? Yeah, I've often found myself in that space, and I found my brain saying these things to me again and again. Most recently, it was about a month ago, that was going on in my mind. And I can remember as I was going to bed this one night, this is what I could hear in my mind was, why do I even bother? And, I let it go, and I didn't kind of quote unquote worry about it. I just tried to go to sleep and wake up the next day and take another step. And that is kind of where this current show tonight is going to take us. So when we're talking about universe, show me, what I'm really asking for all of us to step into and embrace is the fact that you are connected. You are connected to whatever you want to call it. You want to call it God. You want to call it the divine. You want to call it the universe. You want to call it source energy. You want to call it source intelligence. Whatever word fits for you, but you are connected. We are all connected to each other, and we are connected to all of the energies available in the world. When you understand, and even if you're only 1% believing that there is a connection between you and the higher source, the divine, the universe, even just 1%, you understand that you can start to move into the space of asking for the support. So one of the things that can occur when you're in that place of frustration is you want to give up. You want to just throw your hands up in the air and go, that's it, I give up. Do you know what? Maybe that would be the greatest gift you could give yourself, is actually saying, that's it, I give up. Because the control freak in you is probably trying to, quote unquote, figure everything out, trying to control exactly what the next step is and what the next step is and what the next step is, and going into the conclusion around how it all has to unfold. In order for me to be successful, this has to happen, and then this has to happen, and then this has to happen. Wow. Do you know when we are in that space of actually confining the possibilities, because that's what you're doing. You're confining the possibilities when you have decided the way something has to unfold in your life. And when you're confining the possibilities, you literally are taking an infinite amount of possibilities and you're narrowing it down to like a dot in the sand. You are a control freak. Every single person that embodies is a control freak at one time or another. It's not a wrongness. It's not something you should beat yourself up about, but acknowledge this. Yeah, I can be a control freak about this. Yeah, I can be a control freak about that. And when you can see that you like things a certain way, and if they're not that way, you get upset, you get frustrated, you get overwhelmed, you get angry, you want to give up, that's the signal that you're a control freak. Now, I myself am I am so amazing at controlling things, it would probably blow your mind at how good I am at controlling things. I have got this potency and determination, that I will not give up until things are done and done right. My mother would say, you're just like your father. Well, there's a lot of truth in that. And there's also not a lot of wrongness in it either. When you have drive and determination and you have the energy of I want to move forward, sometimes you can kind of tip over the line and go into control freak. But if you can take those energies and allow them to contribute to you and allow yourself to target where you want to go without making it happen in a certain way, that's where you can utilize those energies and come out of being the control freak who definitely contains the possibilities, because you do not want to contain possibilities. And if you have ever gotten to that place where you feel like you want to give up, but you know that the universe has got your back, that's when you can use this beautiful request. Universe, show me. Now, a lot of people will ask me, well, Christine, what do I say after that? Like, show me what? This is where I have learned and I've gotten proficient at giving up the control around how it has to show up. I might be in that place of frustration. I might be in that place of overwhelm. I might feel myself going into, like, what the hell am I supposed to do next? Or, real confusion or kind of find myself like twisting and turning and getting really upset. And then all of a sudden it will drop in. Or I will read it because I do post this throughout my home. Universe, show me. And all you need to do is connect with the energy of peace, the energy of ease. The universe knows what you're talking about. So you're asking for the ease from the universe in that moment with whatever it is that you're dealing with. That's how simple it can be if you are willing to have it be that easeful. Now, many of us will not go for that. It's too simple. Many people will buy the lie that it needs to be more complicated in order for you to be able to change it or make it work. That's not true. I will call bullshit on that. Many things have come out of just absolute surprises. Not a great memory for this, but wasn't it Alexander Graham Bell that was trying to discover something, and out of it came another invention? He was trying to create one thing, and out of it came another. How many times has that actually occurred in the world, in your world, that you were trying to create something, and out of that came something completely different that was just magical? When you're getting out of your own way and you're open to the possibilities, knowing the universe has your back, this is what can actually occur. So we're going to drop into our first break of the show, and then we're going to dive deeper into the show me and really what that looks like and how that can be so much fun and so playful, and how we can start to unlock the places where we stop ourselves. All right, my friends, you are listening to myself, Christine McIver, here on the Inspired Choices radio show on the Inspired Choices Network. We'll be back right after the commercial break. I hope you will be too.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on our past experiences or what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join Inspired Choices radio show with holographist coach Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know but may not choose that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back and brings all her expertise during each and every show. Are you ready to create the life and the living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is Inspired Choices Radio Show with holographist coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@inspiredchoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, my friends. Thank you for being here tonight. We are talking about Universe Show Me. Show me the next step. How many of you out there are looking for guidance, are looking for what's right? How can I do it right? How can I make this joy that I'm desiring show up? This lover that I'm desiring to show up? This man, not the man, but the money to show up. How can I make this happen? And we're talking about how this can actually be easy. But just like most things, we get in our own damn way, don't we? How many of you out there know that you get in your own damn way all the time, right? You're a control freak. You try to make it happen a certain way, and then you take a little, 2-year-old hissy fit when it doesn't. Well, my first question to you to start unlocking this is, do you trust that you are connected to the divine? Do you trust that you are connected to the universe? Wow, I'm getting a lot of doubt in that one. You know, I remember, oh gosh, it was probably maybe only 4 or 5 years ago that I actually totally 100% trusted that I was connected to the universe. So many of us, I would think that probably the majority of people feel like they are all alone, even when they're in a big family or they're married or they have children. You know, we spend so much time in our own thoughts. We spend so much time in our heads and don't feel really supported or really safe with what's going on around us in our lives, what's going on around us in the world. So many people don't feel safe in the world right now. And when we are in our minds and we stay stuck in there and we keep regurgitating these same doubts, these same worries, these same things that feel like we're alone and it's never going to happen for us, that's where we can buy the lie that we're not connected to the universe. You know, do you ever look at other people that are successful, whatever that looks like to you, whatever you determine success is, happiness, joy is? Do you ever look at them and think, why them and not me? Now, these are normal thoughts. These are thoughts that will actually start to tweak you, start to really get loud in your world so that you will pay attention. Remember, we were talking about last week, when you get uncomfortable, that's your desires knocking at the door, wanting to wake you up and needing to get really uncomfortable so you will pay attention. So there's nothing wrong in this. If you don't feel or trust that you're connected to the universe, where's your proof that you're not connected to the universe? We often talk about, show me the proof that you are connected. Well, I'd like to ask you, if you're feeling this way, please email me and tell me where your proof is that you're not connected to the universe. Show me what you know, and I am completely open to anything from anyone. My awareness, my knowing, and you should trust your own, but my awareness and my knowing is that I have had many, many desires in my life. And most of those desires have come to fruition. Now, the real challenge has been when I got my controlling expectations into the mix, when I decided how it was supposed to show up. So do you have expectations from the universe when you are asking for something? Your expectations of how something is going to show up or has to show up will actually cut off your awareness to when it is trying to show up. If you are, for instance, if you ask the universe for a lover and you give the universe a lot of details, maybe you've written a list or you've gone over it in your mind, exactly what it's supposed to look like. Okay? But initially, you put out the energy of your desire, because we know that energy is our first language, right? Well, when you put the energy of that desire out, that's the first ping to the universe. The universe is like, okay, got it. It's like you're placing an order with the universe, okay? And then what you do, what most of us do, is we start putting down our expectations. So every time you throw an expectation in the mix, every time you throw an imagination of what it's supposed to be like, you start to slow it down. So if your first ping of desire goes out to the universe and it starts coming to you, I'm just making this up just to give you a visual, but it starts coming to you at 100 miles an hour, every time you put an expectation on it, it slows down 1 mile an hour. And before you know it, your experience is that the desire is backing away from you. And that's the controlling piece. So many people will say, well, I can prove it because, I don't feel supported because this has happened, or this has happened, or this has happened, right? Every time you look at something really awful that's happened in the world, if you look deeper, if you dig a little deeper around how, or not how, but what came forth through that, where the absolute amazingness evolved in that, you will find the desire has been met, but oftentimes shows up very different than what you expect. So let me give you a very concrete example from my life. And this is not one of the things. I've had many of these experiences, and that's why I'm pretty comfortable with just asking the universe, show me. So one of my desires, since I was a very young girl, and if you read my chapter, Old Maid Be Damned, you will know this story. But one of my desires from a very young child is to have a wonderful partner, man in my life. Someone who is love and kind and generous and funny and playful. Now, when I first started to put this out there, I started to get a visual because I thought that's how you had to do it. So I want him to be 6 feet tall. I want him to have dark hair and blue eyes, right? Guess what? My first husband was about 5'6". He had dark hair and blue eyes.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on our past experiences or what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join Inspired Choices radio show with holographist coach Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know but may not choose that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back and brings all her expertise during each and every show. Are you ready to create the life and the living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you ready to have pleasure with your business? Yes, I said pleasure with your business. The Pleasure of Business a la carte will surprise you with topics like meet yourself in the boardroom, money, services, and you. Expand your visibility. The pleasure of communication. The pleasure of Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Christine McIver has so much pleasure with business and loves teaching all things business. Beginning a new business? Desiring to expand a current business? Or looking to resurrect a business that has been dormant? This program will get you fired up and bring more pleasure than you have ever imagined. Exhausted with your excuses for not creating a phenomenal business? Join now for all the pleasure with business. Pleasure of Business a la carte gives you total choice for what you desire and what your business requires. That's 24 weeks of different topics to choose from with weekly calls, audio and video recordings, and PDFs. This class will have you dive right in and use tools to create the business that has been speaking to you. Go to inspiredchoices.ca for full details. or join the Facebook page, Pleasure of Business a la carte. Now is the time for you and your business.
This is Inspired Choices Radio Show with holographist coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@inspiredchoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Hey, everyone. Welcome back. Before we went to break, I was talking about my first request and my first husband. So one of my very first requests was to have a man in my life. And I started to get controlling with the universe on what that would look like, even though I had put out the energy of my desires. So my first husband was about 5'6", and I had asked for somebody 6 feet tall. So he kind of, the universe was a little off on that one. But I did ask for someone with dark hair and blue eyes. And I imagined someone that would, fit into my family really well, and somebody that would be funny. And, for the most part, I kind of stopped there. I didn't really step into a lot more, but held on very tightly to those physical appearances and behaviors that person should have. Well, he definitely was funny, at least to himself. He was funny. He was very charming, and then when he would drink too much, he got obnoxious. He was very good looking, and then felt that he was God's gift to women, so was always coming on to other women. He ended up being very selfish. He also had a drinking problem and did not see his role in our marriage or his role in being a parent to our son. So that was interesting. And I tell you, when that marriage blew up, I felt sorry for myself. I felt like, why is this happening to me? I went into all of those old patterns of thought that I was a victim. So how many of you have felt you were a victim to what the universe served up in your world? Right? Tell the truth. You have felt like you were a victim. Many, many people, this happened to me. How many of us have ever said, this happened to me? So many of us are continuously doing this and are continuously referring to what we've created as this happened to me. My friends, that is not putting you in the power position. And when I say power position, I mean an empowered position. I don't mean power and control over the universe. You want to become empowered with your thoughts. You want to become empowered with your desires. You want to become empowered in co-creating with the universe. Because here's the thing, the universe wants you to be happy. You came into embodiment to be happy, to be joyful, to contribute to the world in doing just that. That alone, can you imagine, my friends, can you imagine if we had a day, a national day, where everyone, it was just called the Day of Happy, and you did whatever was required to make sure that you were happy from the moment you opened your eyes until the moment you went to bed at night? Can you imagine the vibration in the world, how that would turn up? The joy and the laughter and the play and the ease, how that would change, how the bodies would get happy, how everything would start to ease up. That would be the most miraculous creation if we could all choose that. because that's what this journey is all about. And your desires are a catalyst to bringing you there, but we keep getting in the way because, first of all, we don't think the universe has our back. We believe that we're a victim to our circumstances, and we're trying to control the hell out of everything, right? It's so crazy. One of the other things that we often go into is expecting something to show up the exact same way it showed up the last time, right? So you put a desire out to the universe and then immediately look back at what you created previously or what showed up or, you know, the poor you, whatever that creation was, and you keep looking for, well, I don't want that to show up again, but you keep looking for it. And so in those desires, you're telling the universe, well, that's where I'm focusing, right? That's where I got my eyes. That's where I got my thoughts. That's where I got my words. And it shows up again. Now, I know this to be true because I did it. I did it very, very well. Now, he was 6 feet tall this time. The universe got that right. He didn't have dark hair. He had blonde hair. He didn't have blue eyes. So it's like, you know, could have taken the height from the one and the looks from the other. Maybe would have gotten a little clearer. Was I still trying to control things? Yes, I was. I hadn't yet figured out how to get out of my own way. So here's the thing. When you are actually connected to the universe and you're feeling lost and confused and frustrated, that's because whatever those energies are coming up for you, that's because you are in that space of control. Now, when you can ask the question, universe, show me. Universe, show me my next step. With the energy of, I know you've got my back. I know that all the creations on this planet and with me are beautiful. They're all divinely designed. So today, interesting, my friend and the woman who is producing my show tonight, Rhonda Burns, launched a brand new show here on the network called Rendezvous with Rhonda. And I know she wouldn't mind me sharing this with you. So when she was doing her show today, there was a mess up with the music. And it was kind of like, I was producing, and that threw me off big time. And it wasn't smooth. It wasn't perfect. And yet she knew that whatever was going on in that moment was divinely designed to bring her forward. Do you trust that everything is being divinely designed to bring you forward? I know every lesson that I have ever moved through when I've created some chaos in my life, and on the other side of it, I looked at it and I unpacked it and I found a really big lesson in there. It took me forward in my life. It took me to another level of growth, of maturity, of acceptance that I will have my desires. When you are willing to know that you are the co-creator of your life with your thoughts, with your words, and with your level of control, whatever level of control that is, your desires will come forward, but they may not come forward in the way that you've wanted them. You may want a man, but they'll show up in an unkind person. You may want cash flows, but they will show up like pennies a day, not hundreds and thousands. Do you know that you are stopping the flow of possibilities and joy because you are determining what must happen? And in that, you are worrying, you are upset, you are stopping body movement. You may be hurting yourself in so many ways, like hiding away in the dark. I've done that. stopping your body movement. Forget it. I don't care. I'm just going to eat like crap. I'm not going to exercise. I'm not going to move my body. I'm not going to put on music and enjoy it. I don't want to enjoy it. I've got nothing to celebrate. There's no joy in my life. Well, if joy was going to come to the party, it just ran away when it feels that energy. Universe, show me. And trusting that the universe will show you unfolds in some of the most magical ways. So, back to my personal story. I have moved through those 2 marriages. The last marriage came to a conclusion just about 20 years ago. And it's been a very interesting journey. I went through anger and denial that I wanted to be with a man. I went through the determination that I can do this all by myself. And then I started to open up to more possibilities, which had me pretty much take anything that gave me any attention from any man, to finally saying, you know what, I am going to have the joy. And I started to be very conscious with my thoughts and my words and be open to the possibilities when they showed up. What if the gift you are looking for is coming wrapped in a completely different package? What if it's not a 6-foot-tall person with dark hair and blue eyes? What if it's not somebody that lives in this country or that country? What if it's somebody that is completely different? What if your business or your cash flows or your children show up differently? How many parents out there had children show up in non-traditional ways? They grew up believing that they were going to give birth or have their wives give birth or their partners give birth, and that didn't occur. And as they began to trust that they knew in some way their joy would be delivered, it came in someone that they adopted. Or it came through in an experience of giving in another country where there was many, many children that needed love and attention. You've got to understand that your joy will show up if you will get out of your own way. If you are placing the request with the universe and just say, universe, show me, and let it go. The more you let it go, the more you give it space to come in without resistance. When you ask, show me, then let it go. Let it be like a balloon that you let fly into the air. Place that out there and say, show me. I have no resistance to how it's going to show up. I have no expectations of when. I'm going to continue to be my joyful, brilliant person. I'm going to keep checking in on myself, and I'm going to show up in the most beautiful match to my desire that there is no way it can stop it from coming. And that brings us to the third segment. We're going to talk about it and what it means. So everyone, you're listening to Inspired Choices with myself, Christine McIver, on the Inspired Choices Network. We'll be right back after this commercial break. Stay tuned.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on our past experiences or what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join Inspired Choices radio show with holographist coach Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know but may not choose that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back and brings all her expertise during each and every show. Are you ready to create the life and the living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices Radio Show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. This is Inspired Choices Radio Show with Holographist coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine at inspiredchoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
So welcome back, everyone. So glad you're here tonight. We are talking about a topic that for a lot of people, they just let it go and they don't worry about it and they just think, oh, that's no big deal. I really do need to make sure that things come the way I want them to come. Well, that cuts off the possibilities, as I said. When you're saying, universe, show me the next step, what you're actually saying is, I trust that you will show me. And that is your invitation. Immediately when you say that, and you stay conscious and present with that request, you are saying, universe, I am going to keep my eyes and my ears and my heart open to you showing me. Have you ever desired a career, a job, and you focused on certain organizations, certain companies where you were going to just really, you are going to drill in and I'm going to get that job and no matter what it takes. And you were really hyper focused on that. And it did not work out the way that you desired because you were pushing so hard in that direction. When you stay connected to the desire and you say, universe, I want a company like this one, a company where you are honored, where you are rewarded, where you are empowered to grow, and you're open to it. You could meet the HR manager for a company that has all that and more when you go to the laundromat to do your laundry. Are you talking, communicating with the people that you meet in the world? Or are you sitting in your house, looking out the window and tapping your toes going, when is it going to show up? Yeah. Many of us have been there. Many of us retreat and sit with our frustration instead of going out there. And something that I've referred to for many years is the universe takes us on a scavenger hunt towards our desires, towards what's really possible to create the joy and the living that we have on our heart. If you're open to it, there's so much magic that can come. I can remember some very poignant moments when I just said, okay, I'm open. Universe, show me. And in regards to playing with business, I thought business was really serious. I saw my father be in his own business and he was very serious. And I thought that's how you did business. I worked for a number of different organizations and the bosses were very serious all the time. All of these people, of course, had a lot of frustration in their world. So I thought, you had to be really serious. And a dear friend of mine, Carol Glover, came to my home one time and we knew we wanted to do work together, but we couldn't, quote unquote, figure it out. We were trying to be serious. And finally I looked at her and I said, do you just want to go for a walk by the water? And she was like, oh, yes, please, because we were both feeling this intensity. And we went for that walk and started to laugh and play. And before you know it, ideas started to come forth with ease. And that idea created a one-day class that, initially we thought, oh, this is great. We can do this like every month and we'll get clients and this and this and this. We only did it once. But out of that creation came another creation. And playing together was such joy that then when this opportunity to actually produce on the radio came forward, of course she was the person I looked to, and I said, hey, do you want to do this? And she's like, okay, because we had trusted that the universe had our back, because each time we followed that scavenger hunt of joy and play, it took us to the next possibility. And here I am, 5 years later, still doing radio, actually owning the network and having more play. Now, Carol is, she followed her scavenger hunt, which took her in another direction. We're still very much connected, and we still, when we get together, we laugh and we play. But that was really when this opportunity came forward. I was asking for more in my business, but I never imagined. It was never even in my world. I couldn't even comprehend that this was something that would be part of my business. I followed the nudges. I followed the scavenger hunt. So when you are asking for it to show up, be willing for it to look completely different, even something you have never even heard of. If you would stop ignoring the opportunities knocking at your door, I wonder how many things that you have been desiring for years would finally be able to come through. Would you do this for me? Would you do this for 1 month? Just 1 month. And play with this and ask this question without intensity on the question. Just, universe, show me. Universe, show me my next step today. And go with where the play and the just your moments take you, without conclusion. Well, this is a real screw up. No. What if this is taking me to something else? What if this is taking me to something else? What if this is taking me to something else? What if this one is taking me to something else? Each step, my friends, leads you forward. Just because you can't see what's around the corner doesn't mean that it's absolutely going to be awful. How many of you are really willing to have an inspired choice show up? If you are willing, you've got to put skin in the game, and you've got to be willing to follow the nudges. You've got to be willing to do something that's so light and so fun and so ease, and trust yourself. Trust yourself that you have your own back, and trust yourself and trust the universe that the universe has your back. The universe always has had your back. You just haven't been looking for the signs of that. Thank you so much for joining tonight. Thank you for choosing to lean into more of what really is possible in your world. Because when you lean into more of your joy, you contribute to my joy and everyone else's here on the planet. Please be sure to choose to join us next week. I'm not 100% sure what's asking to come through next week yet, but I'm certainly open to the possibilities. And until then, my friends, remember, you can always make another choice. Bye for now.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Inspired Choices Radio Show. Christine McIver will return next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, be willing to choose what you really desire. This is your life, making the choices that bring you all that you desire.